Hello and what is going on today, guys? Tomcat here, and in today's video we are going to be back in Need for Speed talking about the new hot rods, the new warehouse, manual transmission, and drag racing. Now before we get to all of that, there's a couple other things I want to cover, but the first thing we're going to get to is we're going to get our hands on the most badass machine that I have ever seen in Need for Speed. This hot rod is absolutely just bonkers. This thing is wild and crazy and massively over the top, but you know what? It properly works. It absolutely fits here in the game. And I know that you probably wouldn't think like, oh, you know, you wouldn't think of hot rods when you think of like what fits in Need for Speed, but when you see this thing in the game and you see it doing what it does, it is an absolute beast and it fits in so well. Had to stick an American flag on the rear spoiler because, well, a couple different things. One, because it's a hot rod, and two, because, well, you'll see why later. You'll see why when I race Nick from AR12 Gaming later on in the video. But this thing also is extremely fast. It is so quick in a straight line. It revs to 10,000 RPMs. And first of all, how can you argue with anything that revs to 10,000 RPMs? I'm just saying. But other than that, though, the level of immediacy and power and just sheer, like, this thing is a rocket ship. That's the best way I can describe it, guys, is an absolute rocket ship. And I can guarantee you that when you start driving these things around, I mean, and as you can see, we met up with Nick, like I said, Nick from AR12 Gaming. The thing about these hot rods is that it's not just the speed, and it's not just the power. It's how sinister these cars look. You can't get past that. You can't get past how, like, you can't beat the level of absolute craziness that goes into the looks of these cars. Now, for drag racing, you can see right back there, I actually messed up the initial burnout because the key to drag racing is show up to the line, get in that box, do your burnout, do a proper burnout, and you'll see how to do one later on in the video, and then manually change gears as you go on through the race. Now, as you move up, these drag races will obviously get trickier and trickier, and that is Nick to my left, and as we're here in the burnout box, you can see we got a perfect burnout that time because we just waited until the red lights got right to the end and then let off the throttle. Now, as long as you time your shifts properly, your shifts and your nitrous, you'll do pretty well. And the thing is, if you use your nitrous too early, they will pass you, and they will win. And it would be very embarrassing because you already told them you were going to win. But the main thing, though, is again with the burnout, you gotta make sure that right before those lights get to the end, you let off completely, and that gives you a really wide RPM range that you can launch in, no problem. So once you end up getting off the line, you can see we got red, yellow goes green, you go, and as long as you keep it right there in that red zone, you're good to go. You will hook up and you will go just fine. Now, this drag race actually, it was fun. It was pretty close, and it's so exhilarating when somebody gets up right beside you, and it's not very exhilarating when you crash. It's kind of embarrassing, actually, but when you're right next to somebody in one of these drag races, you look over and you're like, whoa, holy crap, they're right there, and it's kind of a cool sensation that you don't really get in any other game mode in Need for Speed, because you see them right there, and you're like, oh, what's up, buddy? And it's just kind of one of those things that really kind of charges you up about the fact that, wow, we're actually like drag racing in Need for Speed. Like, it's back. It's one of those things that I've wanted to come back, and it's here. Now, the other hot rod is the 1932 Ford. Now, the Ford is interesting. The Ford is interesting because there are so many different configurations of this thing that you could just go on for hours customizing and customizing and customizing, and I'll do a full video on this specifically dedicated to this vehicle later on coming soon. But the main things that you want to keep in mind are that you can turn it into a pickup truck, you can turn it into like a wagon, you could turn it into, like I said, whatever you want to do, you can pretty much do it with this thing. Now, I was trying to get the cops on me, and I eventually did, and when you're driving this thing around, one of the first things you notice is the sound. Just listen to it. It's got a really deep rumbly V8 growl, which is what you'd obviously come to expect from a vehicle like this, but when you actually hear it, it's really, really nice. I mean, you want to play this with headphones, trust me. Play this with headphones, drive this with headphones, and you will hear it like, oh my god, like, what? The sounds are on point, top notch for this thing, and for the other hot rod, but this one sounds absolutely amazing. Now, my favorite configuration is the pickup truck, obviously, and then later on, I went back through and kind of did some customization on it, a little bit with the design, a little bit with the actual customization of it, made sure I had my license plate. And when you're customizing these things, it's really a cool thing to do because you can do whatever you want. You can have whatever kind of design you want, and it will generally almost always fit because these vehicles have such a wide array of styles that can actually work with the vehicle itself. Now, are there some specific styles that I would do and others that I wouldn't do? Well, sure, but that's how it works with customization is you get people that like one certain style, you get other people that like another different style, and it just kind of boils down into what you like to see in your vehicles. And the fact that Need for Speed actually gives you that option is pretty freaking sweet in my opinion. Here I am again meeting up with Nick. He's got a Canadian flag on the back of his truck as would be expected, and then rips away with a burnout. But I mean, final like conclusions on this whole update. I love it, dude. I am all about the fact that we have got these hot rods now. I think it adds such a cool, different variety to the game. Took this thing out for drag racing as well, as you do, and ended up doing pretty well. It's not quite as quick as the other hot rod, obviously, but it's equally as fun to drive because you have so many different options of customization for it. You have so many different things you can do with it, and in the end, what it boils down to is that these two hot rods are so yes, they are like one specific type of vehicle, but they're so diverse in how you can customize them, and that's really the whole thing. I'm seeing a theme around this whole update. So, if you guys enjoyed this video and enjoyed this coverage of the latest update for Need for Speed, then don't forget to click that like button. Tell me in the comment section down below what you guys thought of it, and if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe for more daily videos like this one every day in your inbox, and I will see you guys in the next one. Talk to you guys later, and I hope you guys enjoy.